Blood Falls. In the middle of Antarctica's endless frozen wasteland, there is a waterfall that looks like the continent itself is bleeding. Thick dark red liquid slowly pours out of Taylor Glacier and stains the snow like fresh blood spreading across ice. Early explorers thought it might be algae or some strange mineral contamination, but the truth turned out even more disturbing. The water comes from a hidden lake trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years in complete darkness. Inside that isolated pocket of water, ancient microbes survived without sunlight or oxygen by feeding on iron and chemicals buried deep underground. But here's the terrifying part. The moment the water reaches the surface, the iron instantly rusts and turns blood red. Scientists realize these organisms are surviving in conditions similar to what might exist beneath Mars or the frozen moons orbiting Jupiter. Antarctica is not just ice. It is hiding ancient ecosystems completely separated from the rest of Earth, and some of them may have been evolving in darkness longer than humans have existed. Lake Vostok. Buried beneath more than 2 miles of solid Antarctic ice sits one of the most isolated places on Earth. Lake Vostok is a massive hidden lake sealed away for at least 15 million years. No sunlight has ever reached it during that entire time. No human has ever directly seen it. And this is where it gets disturbing. Scientists became extremely cautious while drilling toward the lake because they feared contaminating an untouched ecosystem that may contain unknown forms of life. The pressure beneath the ice is so intense that the lake remains liquid despite the brutal freezing temperatures above. Some researchers even compared it to an alien ocean trapped beneath another planet. The real danger is what could already be living there. Any organisms inside would have evolved in total isolation from the outside world for millions of years. Antarctica is so unexplored that entire hidden worlds can exist beneath the ice without humanity even realizing it. Lake Vostok feels less like a lake and more like a locked vault from another era of Earth. The frozen Pyramid Mountains. Satellite images from Antarctica sparked global conspiracy theories after people noticed giant pyramid-shaped peaks rising from the snow. At first glance, the formations look almost artificial, with sharp angles cutting through the frozen landscape like buried monuments from another civilization. Some people claimed they were ancient structures hidden beneath the ice. Others believed Antarctica was covering up evidence of lost technology or even non-human activity. But here's the unsettling truth. The pyramids are real mountains carved by erosion over millions of years, yet the terrifying part is how isolated they are. Some sit in regions so remote that humans have barely explored them at all. Antarctica is so massive and unexplored that strange formations can exist for centuries without proper investigation. Beneath the surrounding ice could be giant valleys, underground lakes, or entire hidden landscapes nobody has mapped yet. Humanity has explored parts of space more thoroughly than sections of Antarctica. That alone makes the continent deeply unsettling. Ancient giant creatures. Beneath Antarctica's frozen oceans, scientists discovered creatures that look like they belong in a nightmare. Giant sea spiders with enormous legs crawl across the seafloor under the ice. Massive worms, oversized jellyfish, and strange predators thrive in complete darkness beneath freezing water. This happens because Antarctica's oceans contain unusually high oxygen levels, allowing some species to grow to horrifying sizes through a phenomenon called polar gigantism. But this is where it gets worse. Many of these creatures evolved in isolation for millions of years under crushing pressure and permanent darkness. Scientists believe there are still unknown species hidden beneath Antarctica's floating ice shelves that humans have never seen before. The deeper researchers explore, the stranger the life becomes. If climate change continues melting the ice, some of these ancient ecosystems could begin changing rapidly and exposing organisms that have remained trapped beneath the frozen continent for ages. Antarctica is not empty. It is filled with life forms that seem completely disconnected from the rest of the planet. The buried volcanoes. Antarctica may look frozen and lifeless from above, but hidden underneath the ice are more than 100 volcanoes. Some scientists believe several of them are still active right now. Heat from these buried volcanoes is already melting parts of the continent from below, weakening glaciers from the inside without people realizing it. But the real danger is what happens if volcanic activity increases beneath the ice sheet. Massive sections of Antarctica could destabilize and collapse into the ocean far faster than expected. Some of these volcanoes are impossible to monitor directly because they sit buried beneath miles of ice and rock. Magma chambers may already be shifting in complete darkness under the continent. Antarctica is basically sitting on top of a hidden volcanic system powerful enough to reshape global coastlines if conditions change. The ice covering the continent creates the illusion that everything beneath it is dead and stable, but underneath, parts of Antarctica are still geologically alive. The ancient air bubbles. Deep inside Antarctica's glaciers are tiny frozen bubbles containing air from Earth's distant past. Every layer of ice traps the atmosphere from the moment it formed, turning Antarctica into a giant frozen archive stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Scientists drill massive ice cores to study these ancient bubbles because they contain evidence of prehistoric climate disasters, volcanic eruptions, and sudden shifts in global temperatures. But here's the disturbing part. Some of the deepest ice contains air from a time before human civilization even existed. Researchers realized Antarctica is preserving entire chapters of Earth's history inside frozen layers beneath the continent. The real danger is what happens if these ancient sections rapidly melt. Huge amounts of trapped methane and carbon could escape into the atmosphere much faster than expected. Antarctica is not simply frozen water. It is a giant sealed record of past extinctions, environmental collapse, and violent climate changes. And humans are beginning to unlock it far faster than nature intended. The lost fossil forests. One of the most shocking discoveries ever made beneath Antarctica was the remains of ancient forests buried under the ice. Scientists uncovered fossilized tree roots, pollen, and preserved vegetation proving that Antarctica was once covered in dense forests filled with rivers and life. This completely changed how researchers viewed the frozen continent. But this is where it becomes terrifying. Some of these forests existed during periods when carbon dioxide levels were dangerously high and Earth's climate was dramatically warmer than today. Antarctica was once a humid green world where prehistoric animals may have roamed beneath thick vegetation. The frozen wasteland humans know now is only one temporary version of the continent. Buried beneath miles of ice are the remains of a completely different Earth. The terrifying implication is that the planet can transform far more violently than humans expect. Antarctica's frozen ground is hiding evidence that global climates can shift so drastically that entire continents become almost unrecognizable. The thing beneath the ice. Antarctica has become the center of countless terrifying rumors because the deeper scientists drill, the stranger the discoveries become. Hidden beneath the continent are underground rivers, ancient lakes, volcanic systems, and ecosystems completely cut off from the surface world. In the 1980s, stories spread about researchers detecting strange movements and unexplained signals deep beneath Antarctic ice during drilling operations. Most of these claims were never proven, but they fueled decades of speculation because Antarctica already feels like the perfect place for something unknown to remain hidden. The terrifying reality is that humans still barely understand what exists beneath the continent. Entire regions remain unexplored because the ice above them is too thick and conditions are too dangerous. If something ancient or unusual did survive beneath Antarctica for millions of years, humans might not discover it until the ice begins disappearing. The continent feels less like part of Earth and more like a frozen alien world hiding secrets underneath its surface.